AI tools can be extremely useful, but the results can still be quite unpredictable. Last week, I tried to make ChatGPT write a whole original script for me for a video on a topic that I provided as an experiment, and it did not go well. Let's talk. So the rapid growth of AI is undeniable, and it's been visible in almost every type of medium. From your image generation with Midjourney to image manipulation with Photoshop's generative AI to the auto subtitles in DaVinci Resolve. And of course it doesn't stop there. But probably the most prolific one has been ChatGPT. And while ChatGPT has already been utilized in countless ways, both positive and negative, I believe that using it and models like it in whatever your job is going to be extremely advantageous in the future. One thing for me, where I've been trying to find creative and unique ways to utilize ChatGPT, has been in my content creation workflow. And while ChatGPT can do great many things, I don't believe it's quite there to replace the creative human touch. So let's look at the process and the multiple negative things and problems that I ran into when trying to make ChatGPT write a whole original script for me on a topic. Okay, let's hop in to the computer.
So I started off very simple. I asked ChatGPT if it was possible for me to feed him scripts for videos that I've written, and then if it would be able to try to emulate my style of writing from those scripts and write completely new scripts on the topics that I would provide. And I got a response that it shouldn't be a problem, and then we just went through the process of how it would determine when I was no longer providing scripts and back to normal talking. So then I fed him 5 scripts off my videos and then hopped into just giving it the, well, first it generated some random video that it thought I would want to do. Skipping that over that one, I gave it the topic of how to utilize AI tools in content creation. And then I just watched it write a whole script for me in seconds. And from the first sentence of the script, I could already see that this was nothing like what I would write. And the tone was completely off. The writing style was completely off. And not only that, the script was, well, it was pretty bad, but it also covered a pretty wide array of different subjects. So I kind of wanted to tone that down and just told it to, okay, do it again, but just focus on ChatGPT now. Now the new script after that it generated was even further from anything that I'd ever written, anything I provided it with, anything that I would ever write. So it was completely lost with its tone and writing style. Not only that, it just turned into an ad for ChatGPT. Basically, it's just, this is a fantastic feature and it can do no wrong. And here's another feature that is amazing. And it was really frustrating. And this tone is what was to become a huge stumbling block for ChatGPT. So as I started reading the script, then you can see that it's just pretty much hyping up ChatGPT as the next coming of, I mean, all of the sections, which were extremely short, 3 to 4 sentences each, are pretty much just like, it might start with a fact and then it just ends that sentence hyping up ChatGPT. I mean, the whole, I hate to use this word, but the vibe that you get is pretty much like, have you ever had this happen to you? That kind of a TV ad. I mean, ever face that dreaded blank page when starting a new blog post or script? Fear not, ChatGPT is your creative brainstorming companion. What? There's also, in these sections, there's no directions or instruction on how to actually go about using any of these features. It is just, here's a feature, it is fantastic, And so as a instructional or tip or tutorial guide video, this script is absolutely useless. But it gets worse. So what I expected after that from an AI language model is that I would be able to feed it information and feedback. I would be able to say that, hey, I didn't like this part, and I think the problem with this part is this, and it would adapt and work on those iterations. And so I went into the whole thing. I went into explaining to ChatGPT what the criticism that I provided it was. I even explained it what I meant by hype man. And I said that it felt disingenuous and like I was trying to sell ChatGPT. But any sort of iteration or adaptation, I just found out that ChatGPT is completely incapable of doing that. So after multiple attempts at explaining to ChatGPT that this sounds like an ad and disingenuous and nothing like I would ever write, and you need to fix this, it said that, okay, I understand what you mean now. Word for word. Thank you for providing further clarification. I understand now that the tone in the script was too promotional and lacked a neutral or informative approach. I apologize for not capturing the style you were looking for in the previous response. And it goes on further explaining how it understands what I was talking about. So I was like, okay, revise the script. And it did. And that script that came out is the one that I made that video with. This is the one that I used, and you can notice that it's still a terrible script. It is still extremely disingenuous. It still sounds like an ad, and it's still just hyping up ChatGPT. And it's not providing any examples in how to utilize any of the features that it's trying to explain. Oh, but it did react to me asking it to reduce the hype man tone.
But hold on, we're not going to be hopping on that hype train.
Wow. So even with detailed explanations for ChatGPT into what it's doing wrong, it was still unable to create a completely new and original script that sounded half decent. I mean, it was terrible at trying to emulate my way of writing because these scripts were nothing like anything that I would write. And for a second, I actually thought that, okay, maybe this is something programmed into ChatGPT, so it just, hypes itself up, for marketing purposes. But I tried to do that same thing with a camera. So I just gave it a camera model and told it to make me a review script. Same thing. Sounded just like an ad. So that was terrible. Maybe it's completely down to knowing what to do and knowing what to say and ask. But right now, ChatGPT is definitely not going to be getting a job as my ghostwriter. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't utilize ChatGPT in your content creation or whatever you're doing. Just don't try to make it do everything for you, because that's just not gonna work. There are a lot of great ways to use AI as a creative, and I'll make the actual video of me telling how to utilize ChatGPT next week. But I just wanted to show you an example of how ChatGPT will not be able to do everything for you. But what did you think? Have you tried using ChatGPT for something like this? How did it go for you? Do you think AI isn't quite there yet? Or do you think that we should just be bowing our heads to our artificial intelligence overlords? Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below and we can talk there. And while you're down there, click the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Also, watch this video up next. All right, have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you all in the next one. Okay? Bye.